Shalom, welcome to Tactically Torah. I am Heath Hayes, and here we are, Revelation chapter 18. Super stoked about this, because this is where the famous term, Kuhimp, comes from. Come out of her, my people. So we just heard, or we just saw in Revelation chapter 17, this idea of a conglomerate collaboration of an establishment of nations coming together under the headship of one. And the 10 horns, or the 10 sovereigns that did not have authority or did not receive authority, hated the whore. They did not yet have a reign, but yet instead received authority to reign with the master for 1 hour, or with the beast, reigns with the beast for 1 hour. They hated the whore. And the woman that rides the beast is a great city having sovereignty over the sovereigns of the earth. So yeah. Here we are, Revelation chapter 18. And I recall saying that this great whore, in my opinion, is the city Jerusalem. I have reasons for that, and those will be reasons that we probably dive into in the deep dive. But anyways, Revelation chapter 18. And after this I saw another messenger coming down from the heaven, having great authority. And the earth was lightened from his esteem, and he cried with a mighty voice, saying, Babel, the great is fallen, and has become a dwelling place of demons, a haunt for every unclean spirit, and a haunt for every unclean and hated bird, because all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her whoring. And the sovereigns of the earth have committed whoring with her, and the merchants of the earth have become rich through the power of her riotous living. And I heard another voice come from the heavens, saying, Come out of her, my people, Kuhimp, lest you share in her sins, and lest you receive of her plagues, because her sins have piled up to the heaven, and Elohim has remembered her unrighteousness. Render to her as she indeed did render, and repay her double according to her works. And the cup which she has mixed, mix for her double. As much as she has esteemed herself and lived riotously, so much torture and grief give to her, because in her heart she says, I sit as a sovereignness. I am not a widow, and I do not see mourning at all. M-O-U-R, mourn. Because of this, her plague shall come in one day. I believe that is a literal one day. Death and mourning and scarcity of food, and she shall be burned up with fire, because Yahweh, Elohim, who judges her, is mighty. And the sovereigns of the earth who committed whoring and lived riotously with her shall weep and mourn over her, and they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing at the distance for fear of her torture, saying, Woe, woe, the great city Babel, the mighty city, because your judgment has come in 1 hour. And the merchants of the earth weep and mourn over her, because no one buys their merchandise anymore. Merchandise of gold and silver and precious stone and pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all the citron wood and every object of ivory and every object of the most precious wood and bronze and iron and marble and cinnamon and incense and fragrant oil and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and cattle and sheep and horses and carriages and bodies and lives of men. and the fruit that your being longed for has gone from you, and all your riches and splendor are lost to you, and you shall find them no more, not at all. And the merchants of these who became rich by her shall stand at the distance for fear of her torture, weeping and mourning, and saying, Woe, woe, the great city that was dressed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, and adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour such great riches was laid waste. And every shipmaster and every passenger and sailors, and as many as worked the sea for their living, stood at a distance, and cried out when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What is like this great city? And they threw dust on their heads, and cried out, weeping and mourning, and saying, Woe, woe, the great city in which all who had ships on the sea became rich by her wealth. For in 1 hour she was laid waste. In 1 hour. Rejoice over her, O heaven, and you set apart emissaries and prophets, for Elohim has completely avenged you on her. And the mighty messenger picked up a stone like a great millstone and threw it into the sea, saying, With such a rush the great city Babel shall be thrown down, and shall not be found any more at all. And the sound of harpists and musicians and flutists and trumpeters shall not be heard in you any more at all. And no craftsman of any trade shall be found in you any more at all. And the sound of a millstone shall not be heard in you any more at all. And the light of a lamp shall not shine in you any more at all. And the voice of the bridegroom and bride shall not be heard in you any more at all. For your merchants were the great ones of the earth, for by your drug sorcery all the nations were led astray. And in her was found the blood of the prophets and the set apart ones, and of all who were slain on the earth. Wow. In her. The woman that rides the beast is this great city. Not a great outcome for her, that's for sure. Well, anyways, next time we'll get into Revelation chapter 19. We've got a few chapters left, 19, 20, 21, and 22. So 4 chapters left. Bless you. Shalom.